In what I thought was a joke, the WNBA is voted the most innovative sports league in the country by fastcompany.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. And join us for our live show tonight, which is Head Off by Caitlin Clark's Crossover. Rob's going to be a panelist tonight with a new guest, Rich Latta, and Frank D. Pope. Join us for that. And it's like a sports reporter site forum, and we talk about Caitlin Clark and women's basketball and other things once in a while. So join us for that. And it's going to be 5:30 to 6:30 every Thursday, 6 to 7 every Monday, Eastern time, except for major holidays. So, Rob, I was making my dinner, and I had YouTube on, and I was watching a video, and it transitioned into another video. I didn't even know what it was because I was, not right on the TV. And it was Ben Daniels' podcast came on with this video about innovative WNBA winning an award. And I thought it was a joke, but it turns out it wasn't, although he made jokes about it. And he made a nice video, and I'm going to touch on a couple of things he covered. So
Mark, it is a joke.
That's what I thought it was a joke. I thought Ben Daniels was making a joke, but it was a true award. So I'll get to that in a second. And then it transitioned right at when that one ended. I'm still making my dinner because there's only like a 10, 15-minute video. Chicks Dig Star Podcast has a video on the same topic and also made fun of it. And they tend to have a lot of the same topics, Rob, and have a lot of the same viewpoints. They're almost identical viewpoints. It's like they call each other up or email each other with the same viewpoint. I actually think they're the same person. They're both from Philly. Although they do look a little different. They're like us. They look a little different. They thought people think we're twins, but we're not. We're twins, but we're 16 months apart.
Yeah.
I think they're the same person. I'm pretty sure. Because Chicks in Star Podcast, he never shows him himself. They showed him once, but I think that was somebody else besides him because he never showed it again. So I'm pretty sure they're the same person, but I'm not sure. Anyways, I think they both do a real nice job on their videos. I think they're both intelligent. They both know basketball, and I agree with them most of the time. So Ben Daniels went through and said, they're both sarcastic. That's what I like about them. And said, here's how innovative they were. Was that, Rob? You like the sarcasm?
So that's why I like them.
It's really right.
Yeah.
And I'm sarcastic, so I like it. So anyways. But here's how innovative they are. And Ben Daniels came up with 6, and then Chicks Dig Scar Podcast, he came up with 4. So there's 10. A couple of them are obvious, but we're going to discuss those. And we would have come up with them anyways. But some of these I would never thought of. So I will, go over them. The first one, we'll discuss them at the end. Infusing activism with basketball. And he made sure he put activism first and basketball first. So not basketball with activism. So basically using racial division to pin 2 players against each other who have no business being compared to one another. And that's because they weren't in similar in ability. That's Angel Reese and obviously Caitlin Clark. And he said the difference was with Magic Johnson and Larry Bird was they were the same ability level. And he's right. Ignoring your main star who brings in all the attention, the eyeballs, and the excitement to celebrate 27 years of failure. That was number 3.
That one I like. Yeah, that one I like.
We were going to discuss that. We were automatically going to discuss that one anyways. That's an easy one to think of. The whole thing about them is that they didn't promote Caitlin Clark. That's like the number one complaint people have about not being innovative. So we'll talk about that. Acting like 27 years of failure is okay and a reason to ask for more money and expand rapidly. Reason number 5, stripping the term woman from your 6th Woman of the Year award, which is now the 6th Person of the Year award. And I didn't even know they did that until a few months ago. Someone brought it up. Apparently they did in 2011. So this change was WNBA's effort to promote inclusivity. And I find that very strange, Rob, because they didn't want to include Caitlin Clark. So they did just the opposite with Caitlin Clark.
They definitely didn't include her.
So anyways, 6 was alleging a team to trade due to being pregnant and then conducting such a bogus investigation that leads to a lawsuit against WNBA. Now, I will say, I am not sure how bogus the investigation was until we find out what happens with the lawsuit. But the penalty seemed kind of light to me. I will say that. I'm not sure the investigation was not thorough or not. We'll find out more as the lawsuit goes along. Chicks Dig Scars podcast, his four were innovation was missing layups. We've never seen a lot of that.
I like that one. I like.
No jumping allowed rule, allowing players to date. I'll get to that one. And the smaller ball, which has been around for a while. It wasn't originally in women's basketball, but it was put in there. Now, I don't know why Chicks Dig Scar podcast has this thing about not allowing players to date. He mentioned like in 3 of his videos so far. First of all, I don't have anything against it. I think it'd be impossible to stop it. I would have a problem with coaches and players dating, but not the players. So I'm not sure why he brought that one up.
Yeah, what they want to do in their free time, it's so what? Either who they date or what gender they date doesn't matter to me. That's their business.
Yeah, I don't know how you can control that, Rob. You can kick them out of
the league. Not a control thing. It's just like none of your business.
Right. Coaches and players should not be allowed to date. Okay, because they may eventually have to supervise that person. That would be unfair. So okay. So anyways, but I thought those were really good. I want to talk about the ones that I think are most obvious about how they're not innovative. And they're not innovative, Rob, in the sense that they're trying to become more popular, but they did everything they can to help hold themselves down by not holding Caitlin Clark down at the same time. So
that and also that they want the profit, like you said, but then they don't include Caitlin Clark, who helped them make it, who helped them get noticed more this last year.
Right. That to me is the most obvious lack of innovation. Is they have this new original creative player, which is what innovation is, and they held that person down. So they were the opposite of innovation in terms of this one player. Because that's what innovation means. If you look up the definition of innovation, it's new, original, creative. And Caitlin Clark is that and then some. So anyways, I'll pull up the article, and the article is a joke because I went through and I had to read it a second time, Rob, and they gave Caitlin Clark almost no credit. They gave him like 1% credit. They mentioned her with 2 other players, of course, in the same sentence.
Of course. Okay,
she's never mentioned solely by herself in this entire
article. Can't do that, Mark. Can't do that. You got to include the other players.
This writer, who happens to be a white male, got the memo, Rob. I don't know if they email these people or what, but they get the memo. Don't say too many good things about Caitlin Clark. Make sure you don't say the growth of the league was, mainly about Caitlin Clark. Make sure you don't say that in anything that you do or write, because he got the memo. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, seems like it.
I found the article hilarious, Rob.
So, Mark, you can tell, actually, if you just look at the picture, you can tell right away how bogus this article is going to be right there when you have Angel Reese right in the middle, most prominent one. And you have the
middle MVP. Center, Rob.
Yeah.
In the front.
So right there, that this is going to be some suspicious article.
Yeah, if it was me, Caitlin Clark would be in the center, in the middle, and be big. But that's me. But Caitlin Clark's here. Looks like Asia Wilson, Nanika Agumake. This looks like Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, and Angel Reese. That's what it looks like.
The MVP is small. Should have put the MVP, Asia Wilson, in there.
Well, she's up here. How the WNBA nailed a landmark season. They did everything wrong, Rob. Are you kidding?
Nailed? What did they nail? I want to know what they nailed.
I don't know what they did. The WNBA became the most exciting league in professional sports by focusing its attention on its greatest assets as players. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. No, they did not.
That's what the NBA did, Rob, to make itself popular in the 80s and 90s. Oh, my God. This is hilarious.
Yeah. This is a wild article, Mark.
So they're actually, Rob, the award is they're number 4 on the list of world's 50 most innovative companies of 2025 and number 1 for sports. So anyways, they said when basketball stars Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Cameron Brink, this has to do with the draft. They can't just talk about Caitlin Clark. It has to bring in the rookie class. Rolled up to the Brooklyn Academy of Music.
It's like with the, like I said, peanut butter jelly. It's like word association. I say Caitlin Clark, you say Angel Reese.
Last April for the 2024 WNBA draft, they signaled the arrival of a new generation of talent and the league's cultural ascendance. And then it talks about how popular that was. And of course, it was not really a new generation. It was Caitlin Clark and some other people who were also good players. The league succeeded in large part because it let its players seize the moment as their own. Now, I don't even know what that means, but they succeeded because of Caitlin Clark. So that's anyways. So it talks about NIL after that, which I have no idea how that makes the league creative or innovative.
What does that have to do with the WNBA NIL?
I have no idea. It says once the NCAA's name, image, and likeness NIL rule took effect in 2021, allowing college athletes to profit from their personal brands, it essentially turned every college women's hoops star into a powerful advocate for the sport. What does it have to do with the WNBA being creative? They didn't have. That's not their rule. That's
no.
That was a court ruling. Okay, well, and then it went and talked about Caitlin Clark's deal with Nike, and then of course they had to mention Angel Reese, the next sentence, and Cameron Brink.
Right.
It did talk about one thing, Rob. It said Dick's Sporting Goods launched an exclusive girls apparel collection with the league. All right, so that you could say that's somewhat innovative, but it's not exactly a new idea. It's just something they did to promote that. Cole Edison, who I never heard of, who became the league's first chief growth officer in 2022. I didn't even know they had one. She said, we doubled down on our efforts around athlete storytelling and putting the players first. And I think that played a pivotal role in attracting new fans. What storytelling?
What storytelling?
I didn't see any storytelling. All I saw was Asia Wilson get a lot of publicity and making a fool of herself by being a narcissist and saying a lot of dumb things that made the league look bad.
The only storytelling I saw was that they were how they treated a player who could have made the league, who they should have promoted, and how they treated Caitlin Clark like crap. That's the only storytelling I saw. But they didn't. They didn't tell the story. But we as fans saw that.
And there's no indication that if they did do that, it attracted new fans. Caitlin Clark attracted new fans, and a little bit of Angel Reese, but it was 90% Caitlin Clark. Then it said the league's relationship with its players isn't always smooth. Gee, I wonder why. Last season, when the rivalry between Clark and Reese became engulfed in racist rhetoric, which emerged on social platforms and was fueled by conservative media.
Oh, there we go. Right there, Mark. This guy's got an agenda already. The conservative media.
Let me finish the sentence. Yes, I'll get to that right now. Players accused Commissioner Kathy Engelbert of downplaying the issue, and she suggested all rivalry was good for the sport. When asked about the toxicity in a September CNBC interview, she later apologized. Conservative media fueled this, Rob.
Yeah. Conservative media fueled this rivalry and fueled the hate and racism, huh?
Now, I am not for conservative media, especially the overly conservative media. But I'm going to defend them because the conservative media was responding to the overly woke, overly PC, biased liberal media, Rob. And as Ben Daniels' podcast pointed out, he mentioned ESPN is obviously very, very liberal. NBC, wow. He pointed out Natalie Esquire works for them, Chris Williamson from CBS, and of course, USA Today. Now, not this year, but right before the season started, USA Today, Lindsay Schnell, who's an overly woke white journalist, wanted to replace Caitlin Clark before she even left college basketball with two black players.
Right.
Juju Watkins, a Puerto Rican and a black, but woman of color, and Hannah Hidalgo, because it's important to have them the face of women's basketball because they can't have a white woman being the face of women's basketball because that would be, I don't know, there's a law against it, I think. So I thought that was innovative, Rob, to replace the white woman.
I'm sorry, Mark. I did see that. There was a law against that you cannot promote the white women for basketball. I looked it up on my time off, my day off, and I did see in their bylaws that you said paragraph 25, Article 6 says cannot promote white women for face of the WNBA.
Right. I believe you, Rob. I believe. I believe. And in fact,
seems like it, right? Sure seemed like it.
So the league basically jumped on that, Rob, and did everything they can to try to claim and promote Asia Wilson as the face of the league. When in game one, actually in preseason game one, I would say, Caitlin Clark became the face of the league. So they weren't trying. They were trying to do that. They were following through with Lindsay Schnell's request to make sure black players are the face of the league or the face of women's basketball. So I thought that was innovative, Rob. That was innovative.
That was pretty. Oh, you're right. Yeah, that was pretty innovative. It was.
In fact, Rob, they were innovative in the sense that they changed the definition of face of the league. So that was innovative.
Right. Exactly. They were innovative in the way that when Caitlin Clark started playing, how she was double teamed and how she had all the flagrant fouls and the referees against her. That was very innovative to say, okay, she's coming to leave. All you guys go against her, and then let's all give the Mean Girls. She got the Mean Girls 2 treatment, I guess.
Mean Girls 2. Nanike Agumake, Seattle store forward and president of the WNBPA, says that the league has made strides, but there's plenty of work to be done. The WNBA introduced a charter flight program in May. Charter flight, no mention of Caitlin Clark, Rob.
Yeah, but what was the reason why? The reason why, like I said, this is the same league like a year ago. Before that, they fined the New York Liberty for chartering a flight, $1 million. They chart $1 million.
So, Rob, other leagues have been doing this before, so it's not innovative.
No.
What's innovative is that Caitlin Clark made them a lot of money, and they finally got it. That's what happened.
Yeah. What's
innovative is that one woman that was responsible for them finally having enough money to do that didn't get any credit for it. That's what was innovative.
You know what, Mark? That's kind of innovative, right?
It's innovative to hide the fact that they got this charter flights from one player and won't admit it. That's innovative.
Yeah, exactly.
The last sentence is, and the WNBA, which reached new heights last year by harnessing the excitement around its athletes, doesn't want to alienate its greatest asset, which they think is all their players, all 156 of their players now, when it's really the greatest asset is Caitlin Clark, which they won't admit is their greatest asset.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is hilarious. I'm serious. I got a chuckle out of this last night. I was laughing about it when I woke up this morning.
Now, Mark, I do think, now I think, if you would, it looks like it was a joke, like it's like maybe just a satire type thing, you know? That's what it seemed like to me. It seems like it was a satire article, but now they're actually serious about this.
Right. I just go through that. I just went through everything they basically talked about. And like none of it was innovative, new, or original. You know, even the girls' apparel thing wasn't an original idea. It's just kind of like they added it to their league, but and then increased the popularity of the league. Jersey sales existed before that, you know. And Caitlin Clark got it most of them.
Right. And she changed. She filled arenas with other teammates or other people on other teams like Asia Wilson and Angel Reese. Sorry. They didn't fill the arenas. They didn't have to change venues when they played.
I'll tell you what was very innovative, Rob, was they decided to have the refs ref basketball, but not ref it like it's supposed to be reffed. Like in the NBA. The NBA cleaned themselves up in like 1989, 90, you know, when they decided to put in the flagrant foul rules. And they cleaned it up. And they made the brand of basketball too exciting. Now, maybe there's not enough defense right now in the regular season in the NBA. They were innovative in the sense that, look at this Detroit Pistons type basketball is ugly. And we're not going to allow this in the league. The WNBA didn't learn from that and decided to allow it in their league from day one and is not taking it out of it. And that's because the refs don't call the game tighter because the commissioner and the owners and everybody else involved in the league don't tell them to. That's innovative. And it's holding back on their popularity, Rob.
Right. Like I said, she promoted it. We're a physical league. Oh, okay. So we want to see a bunch of women's smashing into each other and knock each other down to the ground. Roller derby. Okay.
So they're giving the women who are not exciting basketball players, the bigger women, the plotting women, to be more dominant in the league because they can get away with more physicality, which is just another definition of foul that's not called a foul. In fact, so it's hurt their popularity, and people didn't know this because nobody was watching for 27 years. And then when they saw, wow, you're trying to hold back the most exciting player in the league by clutching, grabbing, holding, fouling, or insulting her, that's innovative. By holding back becoming a league, becoming more popular, but not allowing a player to be creative, to be aesthetically pleasing in the athletic ability they possess. Which, like Michael Jordan, that's what made Michael Jordan so exciting. He was aesthetically pleasing when you watched him play. They allowed the Pistons to consider tackling him and assaulting him as he drove to the basket. It wouldn't be as exciting as if he had the creativity towards the basket moves that were really exciting. And that's what this is.
Women's game is hard enough to try to get you to watch. So when you include the physicality and slowing it down and having them knock to the game, that makes it even worse.
I think it's innovative that you can watch a person get hit in the head and just swallow your whistle. I think that's very innovative. And you can do it to the same person over and over and over again because you have an agenda, just like the players, to hold that player down because it's a white woman that's getting too much attention and too much money in the black league. That's really what it's about.
Yeah.
And it was disgusting.
It's innovative to like just instead of hiding the racism, you just come straight out and show your racism. No holding back.
I think it's innovative that they decided, okay, well, we're just going to sabotage ourselves. We're going to take this golden child, this golden opportunity, and decide that we're just going to throw it underneath the rug and pretend it's not there because we want all 144 players at the time to get the same amount of attention because it wouldn't be fair because their feelings would be hurt. We found that out from one of the owners, Sheila Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's innovative that the commissioner didn't do anything to protect the star asset of the league. She did nothing, no criticism whatsoever. And I think it's innovative to keep that player off the Olympic team, who turned out to be the best point guard in the league. It was easy to see, by the way, and should have been on the team in the first place. So, anyways, I don't know what to say about this article and this award. Rob, what about when Caitlin Clark got the award? One of the black podcasters said, Caitlin Clark should give that award back. She doesn't deserve it as one of Athlete of the Year award. So I'm wondering, should the WNBA give this award back? Because they don't deserve this one at all.
Mark, I think they should give it back. They really should. It's they should do the right thing, like Diana Taurasi should have done the right thing and let Caitlin Clark be on the Olympics. The WNBA should do the same thing, like, oh, hey, we don't deserve this award.
I know what they should do, Rob. I don't know how many professional leagues there are in the U.S. because there's a lot of minor ones. But I think they should share this award with all the other leagues in the U.S. for the most innovative. And what's funny, they're not even that innovative. They just use the same rules as the NBA. So, I mean, it's not like they got new rules. They play the same rules as the NBA for the most part.
I don't know the listing, Mark, but I know the number one probably was the Savannah Banana Slugs. I'm pretty sure, minor league team.
Really? Who are they?
You should look it up. They're very innovative as far as baseball. There's a play where the player got hit to him. He put the ball between his legs, threw the first, and the umpire did a flip and called him out.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty wild. I was like, wow, that was pretty cool.
I think these refs do flips when Caitlin Clark is getting hit in the head and driving to the basket because they're not looking because they're somehow not watching when that happens.
I think they should get an eye chart. I think that should be the most requirement is get an eye chart because it's right.
Well, that's innovative, Rob, that they have refs that can't see.
Yeah, I think that's what it was because it would happen right in front of them.
Oh, wow. I don't understand, Rob. Their innovation, none of the growth had to do with any innovation. It all had to do with the fact that Caitlin Clark came in the league, made it more popular, and that's how they got the new boost in the amount of money they make with the TV contract. If Caitlin Clark wasn't in the league, they wouldn't be able to negotiate such a high contract. That's 100% clear because it happened while she was in the league. It went from $60 million to $220 million. So I know it's innovative, Rob. 6 out of 12 of the teams this year have already changed their arenas because Caitlin Clark sells so many tickets. That's innovative. I'll give them credit for that. They went to bigger arenas. All right. Very few leagues do that. In fact, I don't know any leagues that do that. So, okay, that's innovative. But it's because of Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Which the article doesn't seem to want to give credit.
Because of one player, yeah.
So, anyways, let us know what you think down below. Be innovative and creative and original.
Yeah. So let us know how the WNBA was. Yeah, let us know how they were innovative and creative.
I mean, we started with 10 and we just added a bunch. So we're up to 15 or 20 between 3 podcasters right now. See if you can make the list even longer and come up with some more innovative ways that the WNBA.
Right.
I'm sure we missed some, Ralph.
Oh, I missed a lot, I'm pretty sure.
They were creatively dumb, I'll say that. Anyways, let us know what you think down below. And if you hit that like button, please, and share it with your family, friends, and acquaintances. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. We'll give you some more sarcasm. And join us for our show tonight, which starts out with Caitlin Clark's crossover. Rob's going to be there with 2 other podcasters. It's Caitlin Clark's crossover, which is like a sports reporter site forum. We talk about Caitlin Clark and women's basketball. That's from 5:30 to 6:30 Eastern time. Our other one is Monday to 6 to 7 Eastern time. And that is going to be every Monday and Thursday except for major holidays. If you want to donate to this channel, you can send with super chats and super thanks down below. And there's a link to PayPal. We'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.